Right, hello, I'm Henry and we're with Genesis Archives right now, and we have Skeptic, DJ, producer from Southampton, and he's here playing with us today. So, Skeptic, you originate from Southampton, right? You've Southampton Uni, and recently you've done a bit of a tour around the country. You've done Bristol, you've done Manchester, you've done Leeds, like places with deep pedigree of music and this kind of rave scene. How does it feel to kind of come from Southampton, a place with maybe less of a kind of ingrained music scene, and playing in Birmingham tonight, which is also the same, kind of trying to find its feet? How has it been seeing those kind of rave capitals compared to being in places like Southampton and here?
So that's something I'm sort of struggling with recently, because Southampton. So I only moved to Southampton in like late 2021, and to be honest, I wasn't even really part of the underground scene. I liked a bit of D&B, bit of house here and there, and eventually I would start my first day at uni. I remember in halls. I had my decks and I just started DJing. Well, I'd been DJing for about a year before that, and just pulled my decks out, played a couple tunes, and they were like 200 people in like a 50-person flat. It's crazy. and then literally since then, it sounds cliche as fuck, but I was just like, I really want to start DJing it. So I started DJing in Southampton, and then just realising that there's no scene for anything at all other than pop and ABBA and shit like that. And I was just, so we found this DJ collective. It took so long to find, but they were called SEMSU. That's Society of Electronic Music at Southampton University, full of like 5 people. All of them like 25 plus. They were in their like 8th year of uni, and they're playing techno and fucking electro. And I was like, I sort of really want to get into this. So I got into it with my mate Sam, and it's like ever since then we've been trying to grow the scene in Southampton. So coming to places like, Manchester and Newcastle, even Bristol, honestly, it does make me jealous, because there's a scene for everything there, and like any event will sell out, no matter like how late it's promoted, how big the venue is. There's always people looking for it, and that's sort of what I want to get to Southampton. So hopefully, if I do like good enough, I want to do more events in like places like Southampton and Birmingham, as you said. I would have thought Birmingham has a pretty big crowd, to be honest.
Well, I'd say that's what the Genesis boys are working on. They're trying to fill that gap, and I'd say doing a pretty good job so far, finding people like you. And I mean, is that difference between the kind of the Southamptons and the Newcastles? Is that with the ravers, or is that with just the kind of the club setup?
It's a bit of both, really, because in Southampton, to be honest, there are 3 clubs, only 3 clubs that are worth even bringing a headliner down to. Sound systems aren't dealt with properly, and usually, freshers period, September, there aren't any collectives doing like big like underground music events. It's all just the uni doing ABBA nights and all these kind of shit, Like, fair enough if that's what people like, but I think that if you're a freshman, you're coming into the new city, and your first few nights you're fed with commercial music, and of course you're not going to go out and find your way and find like underground music to play. So I don't know. I think, I mean,
it sounds like they're kind of funneled into a kind of music genre that's not particularly what they might even want. Sounds like Genesis takes over Southampton might be.
Definitely.
It could be on the cards. Could be the cards one day.
Oh yeah.
And so I mean, with that, I suppose you kind of really made your own sound in Southampton. You kind of had to draw on your own inspiration. And I saw in a little interview that you did in January, I think. You draw on inspirations like B.B. King and Sade and stuff like that. And I know you sample a lot of their music in your tunes, which are brilliant, by the way.
Thanks.
I mean, how do you find when you're sampling all this music, that's funneled to us, how do you find that originality while sampling, making bootlegs and stuff?
Usually it's because I really listen to a lot of music, and I listen to massive like selection of genres and shit. So, you know, Sade and Mac DeMarco and all that stuff. Huge fan. Like that's the kind of genre I'd listen to when I'm just chilled out doing uni work and stuff. And then at night when we're going out, jungle, D&D, Speed Garage, obviously, UKG.
Yeah.
So like, I always thought it would be hard to integrate because then I'm feeding both audiences at the same time, especially in Southampton. When I'm playing events there, I'm like, I can make the commercial crowd happy by playing songs that they know, but with a little bit of a twist that can keep me happy as well. So I'm not that DJ that plays commercial tracks and gets no joy off it. And in terms of originality, I think it's just because I listen to so much music that, you know, I find myself sitting in front of my laptop for like 5 hours, just thinking, how could I just twist this up a little bit? And to be honest with you, nothing's really like original. It's just inspiration I've got from loads of different artists and genres and just putting it in one. And I still think I'm on the path to like really creating my sound. You know?
Oh, that's fantastic, and I think that's a struggle a lot of DJs in this country are probably having. But I mean, leads me on to my next question: is like how important has producing been to you? Because you are a prolific producer. I mean, we've seen on your Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Free download Friday.
Yeah.
Best day of the week for me personally. How do you keep churning those tunes out? Because, you know, I talked to some of my mates who produce and stuff like that, and it's a slow turnover rate of making. How do you keep producing and keep keeping it like original and fresh?
Honestly, I don't know how it happens. It's just sort of because I've always really been into music. This is going to sound cliche, you know. I used to play guitar when I was like 5, that kind of shit. But no, I used to produce music since like 2018, and I made all types of music like EDM, future bass, future house, rap, trap, UK drill, house, all of that stuff. And like I'd always just sit there and just listening to people. Like I'd watch loads of producers and get tips of them. And like now I think I've got to the point where I know what I'm doing. I know, like, if I've got an idea in my head, I know exactly how to put it onto paper, which is what makes it easier. Because, like, I'll just be walking down the road and I hear this tune just coming out of a shop, and I'm like, that would be such a hard Speed Garage tune. I just get home and I just, like, my notes app is full of just me humming into my phone, just making noises and shit. I'm like, I'm gonna listen to this and make it. And I think, once you're familiar with how to, like, work the software, you can just put it down, and usually, like on like good weeks, I'll make like a tune a day, because I know loads of producers that spend like weeks and weeks just perfecting that tune, but I've never done that. I just make it and I get it done within like 3 hours, because I feel like if I spend too long, I'm gonna get sick of it. And I wouldn't want to finish it. Just make it and then finish it, and then just is what it is.
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, and I think handing them out as well in such a charitable way. I mean,
I mean, recently I've had to stop it because I was having a chat with Silver Bumper and Yanis and stuff. Actually, like one of my first like bookings ever in Manchester, Silver Bumper came there, and he just happened to come there to see me, which was fucking crazy because I was a huge fan of him for ages. And then he was like, "Man, I mean, it's so nice that you're doing all the free downloads and shit, but you gotta stop it because you're not getting anything out of it, and you need to start making like original tracks, and you'll probably get a lot more from that." And then I spoke to Yanis as well, Dubplay. He said the same thing, and then I was like, okay, I'll give it a go, and then, you know, it's history, to be honest.
Oh, wow. I mean, how was it meeting those people, like your idols? I mean, that's a big moment for us, for you, I suppose.
In terms of Yanis, I still remember when he texted me. He was like, "When I sort of meet with you, when are you free? I'll come down to Southampton." And I was like, "Oh, I'll make time. Don't worry about it." And he came down, and he picked me up from my house, and then we went to this restaurant and we were talking, and he gave me like pretty much a year plan. And he was like, "This is what you get from working with me. This is what I'll get from working with you. Blah blah blah." Then it just, on the drive home, I literally said to you, I was like, I said to him, I was like, "I can't believe I'm sitting in a car with Dr. Dubplay right now." It was crazy. I'll never take that for granted, obviously.
No.
Every time I meet them, still I get gas because, you know, Dr. Dogplate, Pioneer, he controls the whole scene.
Well,
People
electric
don't
Summer,
even know it. Yeah, it's crazy. And Silver Bumper as well, one of the most talented producers I've ever seen. Like, all of his music is just so original.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of people I look up to, and that's what influences my music a lot, to be honest.
And I suppose that's from kind of being, you know, seeing the scene through Genesis. That community, I think, is so important with the music, and in driving a new genre. Because would you agree in the fact that there's a new age of music dawning?
Yeah.
And my question for you, I suppose, is where do you want that scene? Where are you driving it now?
Well, to be honest, I sort of think we're doing a full circle at the moment. Drum and bass obviously has gone into its jump up a lot now with people like Headaches and Turner and stuff like that. And those people are, you know, they don't really like that, so they look into jungle and shit. So now we're back in the 90s when jungle was like originated, stuff like that. 80s, I don't know.
Yeah.
Same with Speed Garage. Speed Garage is like becoming a big thing in Southampton at the moment. Mainly because of like Sensu, like we play that shit everywhere. Whatever event we have, we play Speed Garage. Give yourself
some credit for that, surely.
But I just think, I don't even know where I want to take it, to be honest. Because I can't predict where I'd be in the next like 2 years. Because I couldn't have predicted this last year. Couldn't have predicted this like 5 months ago, to be honest with you.
Wow.
But I think it definitely is just going in a circle.
Inspiration.
In terms of like everything as well, like fashion as well, people are like going back into the 90s and 2000s and stuff. I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, I was going to observe. I mean, you've got the Maxidon. Is fashion a thing that's integrated with your kind of brand, or is that maybe a few years down the line?
I don't know, actually. I mean, I've noticed that this scene particularly just has so many like fashionable people. I've seen people dripped out like crazy, and I don't know if that's got to do with the music or the culture behind it or whatever. But
I suppose free expression is a...
Yeah, I think for me, because I'm always like looking into like Speed Garage and UKG, specifically 90s and shit. It just like sort of fucks with my brain a little bit as well. And I speak to my parents. My dad used to be a DJ as well, and I look at pictures and shit, and I see what he's wearing, and I want to feel like I'm in the 90s, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it has influenced the way I dress as well.
Such an authentic era, wasn't it, of just presence in the music?
Yeah.
So you said your dad was a DJ. Was he?
Well, it wasn't really a serious thing. He stopped when he was about my age, but he was doing it for about 2-3 years.
Oh, fair play.
And he's loads of my influence, like in music, definitely comes from him. Like garage, like Craig David and stuff, all that shit. Even like jungle as well. He's a massive fan of jungle. So yeah, I think my dad has definitely influenced me a lot.
Wow.
In terms of just everything, to be honest. Yeah, music, the way I dress, the way I carry myself, obviously.
Oh, so big inspiration to you.
Yeah, huge. And like I'm yet to like bring him to one of my events, but I'm playing my first festival in a bit. Probably gonna bring him to that as well. Should be hard. Yeah.
That's amazing. I was going to ask about that. You've got some festivals coming up this summer, which is, first of all, I can imagine some free tickets, which is nice. How are you feeling about playing some festivals? So that's the proper...
I couldn't even imagine. I was just speaking to Bish about this today. I'm playing Love Saves the Day, and the stage that we're on's got a few thousand people or something, and I just can't even like process that number in my head. Because even like events, like even this event we've got coming up, pretty much every event, right? Like whether it's 50 people, 1,000 people, I haven't played in front of 1,000, but 50, I still get nervous like all the time because I don't know. I'm just like nervous for some reason, and then I play that first tune, and then everything's gone. I'm fine. I'm all good. Yeah.
And I think that's I suppose a theme across a lot of creatives, that idea. And would you say how important is music for you and that kind of sense of self and that place?
I couldn't even put it into words.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's part of like everything. I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't produce music. DJing as well has like, I don't know, because DJing has helped me like sort of like open up a little bit more, because for a long time I was like hella like anxious, nervous. I struggled meeting new people, but then I've noticed that DJing in like new places forces you to like meet new people and shit. So I think I've got a little bit better at that. And in terms of like producing music, it's just such a good way to put your thoughts down on. It's like writing in a diary essentially, but in terms of music. And like I make loads of music that I don't release, like ambient stuff that literally just fucking reflects what's going on in my head. And it's like therapy, really. So I don't really know where I'd be without being able to produce music and listen to music, of course. Listen to music. It's huge.
Huge, and I mean, wow. I mean, I think it's the same for a lot of people, kind of channeling that music. But I mean, we love your music, and so do a lot of people. So that's from the bottom of the heart, it really is. I suppose as a result of your hard work and that kind of reflectiveness, reflecting yourself in the music, you've picked up a bit of attention. It's fair to say. Cameras in the room. And we've heard recently it's new management and events with like 23 Degrees and stuff like that. How's that been as an experience?
Oh, insane. I mean, props to Yanis and EC to it, of course. I mean, had to rep
Big up, yeah.
He's done so much for me. Like, none of this, just everything for me. I don't even know how to thank him. And Tremaine, man that runs 23 Degrees as well. I met him when I was supporting Girls Don't Sink on their tour in Brighton, which was undoubtedly like one of the best events I've ever played at. He's a lovely guy, and he just called me and he was like, you know, I'd love to like support you and try to get you some shows and shit because you deserve it. Blah blah blah, all that stuff.
To you maybe, yeah.
No, you know what I mean.
Yeah, it does.
And like management as well. I think it's just been so good to have it off my shoulders, so I can focus on music and DJing a lot more. And you know, they're lovely people, and loads of producers and DJs can vouch for them for sure. So yeah, it's been great, honestly. It's definitely helped my drive to produce music, because before then I was handling everything on my own. And it's quite hard.
That's a lot. I mean, just admin-wise, I suppose that's. I mean, dyslexic as fuck. So I wouldn't stand a chance. The fact you got in, that's brilliant. I mean, honestly, thank you so much for this interview.
Of course,
it's been fantastic. Opportunity for now. If there's anything you'd like to mention, upcoming events or anything that you're involved in.
Tons of events. I'm just Love Saves the Day is probably one I'm looking forward to a lot. Obviously doing a little bit in between then, Leeds. Tomorrow I'm doing Nottingham, Manchester coming up. Belfast next weekend actually. Which
International, there we go.
And in terms of releases, I feel like I've let the people down a little bit, because I did the free download Fridays every week without fail for like 12 weeks. And then I had to stop because I would have just not really been getting anywhere. But I have got EPs coming up, double J's coming up, remixes as well. There's
a few bootlegs in there.
Few bootlegs, plenty, yeah. So I've got loads coming up, especially over summer. I'll just wait until summer because I feel like my music would definitely work.
It's a summer, it's a summer. Little two-step on the beach.
Yeah.
Well, I personally can't wait. Thank you so much, Skeptic, for joining us at the Hare and Hounds in Birmingham with Genesis Events. Thank you very much.